Hello everyone, and welcome to the commentary of the segmented run of Portal 2 in 69 portals. I'm Oryn, and sadly I'm alone today, so I will try my best to explain everything. So while we are in this cutscene, I'm gonna explain some general stuff. So, as you might have noticed, the run is done in 1 hour 10 minutes and 9 seconds, so in 16 minutes and 69 seconds, which was totally intended. Also, we started the segmented when the total was at 69 bottles, and while we were doing it, we managed to lower the total in 266, but those 3 bottles were too long to save time. They could take several hours, even by playing the fastest possible. So we decided to set the rules as SLA inbounds, so SLA stands for save load abuse. Basically any trick that uses save load, I'm gonna explain later those glitches are allowed, and as long as we stay in the limit of the game, we can go there.
Stay calm, prepare. That's all I say.
Another
Prepare. It's
rule
all fine.
we chose
Alright?
was that any portal we
You
place
might want to hang on to something.
has to land to count. So if we shoot and it doesn't place, we don't count this portal, and same for the portals we spawn with a button, because in the game, on some levels, you can, like, in challenge mode, you have a portal counter, and if you have those situations, it doesn't add up in the counter.
For quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question.
And also, why did we start in the cutscene instead of after the cutscene? It's because first it's playable, we can move during the cutscene, and we wanted to be as close as the 100 portal run, which was made a few years ago. And they started there.
You just jumped, but never mind. Say apple.
So I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of the cutscene.
Just hold tight.
All reactor core safeguards are now non-functional. Please prepare for reactor core meltdown.
Okay, look, I wasn't going to mention this to you, but I'm in pretty hot water here. How you doing down there? You still holding on? The reserve power ran out, so of course the whole relaxation center stops waking up the bloody test subjects. Hold on, this is a bit tricky. And of course, nobody tells me anything. No, why should you tell me anything? Why should I be kept informed? You know, about the life functions of the 10,000 bloody test subjects I'm supposed to be in charge of. Why? It's close. Can you see? Am I gonna make it through? Have I got enough space? Just gotta get through here. Okay, I just gotta concentrate. And whose fault do you think it's gonna be when the management comes down here and finds 10,000 flipping vegetables? Alright, see, no, I hit that one. Okay, listen, we should get our story straight, alright? If anyone asks, and no one's gonna ask, don't worry, but if anyone asks, tell them as far as you know, the last time you checked, everyone looked pretty much alive, alright? Not dead. Okay, almost there. On the other side of that wall is one of the old testing tracks. There's a piece of equipment in there that we're gonna need to get out of here. I think this is a docking station. Get ready. Good news, that is not a docking station. So there's one mystery solved. I'm going to attempt a manual override on this wall. Could get a bit technical. Hold on. Almost there. Remember, you're looking for a gun that makes holes. Not bullet holes, but don't worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, do hold on this time. Good luck.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond our control. However, thanks to emergency testing protocols, testing can continue. These pre-recorded messages will provide instructional and motivational support so that science can still be done, even in the event of environmental, social, economic, or structural collapse. The portal will open and emergency testing will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Alright, so now the run starts for real, and we have like access to the chambers. So sometimes we are gonna wait at elevators for the dialogue, not on this room, but on most of them.
If you feel liquid running down your neck, relax, lie on your back, and apply immediate pressure to your temples. You are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the material emancipation grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
On this chamber we just throw the cube above, there's a small gap, and the cube can land on the bottom. And there we wait for the dialogue, so we save a cycle
Please take a moment to
of the
review
elevator.
results of your test. An Aperture Science Reintegration Associate will revive you for an interview when society has been rebuilt. If the Earth is currently governed by a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of...
Hey, you made it! Oh! Hello? Can you see the portal gun? Also, are you alive? That's important. Should have asked that first. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna work.
So there we grab a chair, and with that chair we can do prop ups. So by placing a prop under yourself, you can jump on it and you can grab it again, with a small cooldown on the grab, but it can be bypassed. I'm also gonna pause a bit in this chamber to explain the few tricks.
To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death. Smooth jazz.
So on this first part we make the cube bounce on the side of the button, so the door opens and closes over and over. And there we hold the cube against the wall, and by doing this we can get a boost upward. So there we are pushing one cube against the door, with another cube between you and the cube you wanna clip. We just manipulate the physics, and it can take a bit of time, but that's one way to clip a cube through a door. And now we are gonna clip the cube a different way, by holding the cube against the door while it opens. We can clip it. And there you might have noticed the button stayed activated. It's called a BSG, button save glitch. If you save at the same tick, you're gonna exit the button. You will exit the button, but the states of the button will remain active. And same as the first chamber, we are clipping the cube as the door opens. And we broke the glass by standing on the cube, and we were in the air and crouching, which creates crouch activation, which activates the triggers 18 units above you. So there is another BSG to make the button remain active. And when I said during cube ops or prop ops there was a cooldown on the regrab, if we save load, the cooldown goes back to 0, so we can do infinite ops with it like this. It's not like other engine where you can do it infinitely. We have to save load. Okay, so there we get a good boost by having lots of velocity and entering a trigger catapult. which gives a velocity if we are in a certain threshold. And we can notice the save loads during the
That said, if you are simple-minded, bold, or a
during the
the
elevation.
future should not start with you. Please return to your primitive tribe and send back someone better qualified for testing. To ensure that sufficient power remains for core testing protocols, all safety devices have been disabled. The Enrichment Center respects your right to have questions or concerns about this policy.
Okay, so there we go above the chamber to save a portal.
Okay, listen, let me lay something on you here. It's pretty heavy. They told me never, never, ever to disengage myself from my management rail or I would die. But we're out of options here. So get ready to catch me, all right, on the off chance that I'm not dead the moment I pop off this thing. On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's high. It's too high, isn't it? Really? That. All right. Going on 3 just gives you too much time to think about it. Let's go on 1 this time. Okay. Ready? 1. Catch me! Catch! Ow! I am not dead. I'm not dead. Plug me into that stick on the wall over there, yeah, and I'll show you something. You'll be impressed by this. Yeah, I can't do it if you're watching. Seriously, I'm not joking. Could you just turn around for a second? Alright, you can turn around now. Bam! Secret panel. While your back was turned. And look at this! No rail to tell us where to go. Oh, this is brilliant. We can go wherever we want. Just hold on though, where are we going? Seriously. Hang on, let me just get my bearings. Oh no. Yes, hello, no, we're not stopping. Don't make eye contact, whatever you do. No, thanks, we're good. Appreciate it. Keep moving, keep moving. Probably ought to bring you up to speed on something right now. In order to escape, we're gonna have to go through her chamber. And she will probably kill us, if she's awake. Okay, I'm gonna lay my cards on the table. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go in there. Don't go in there. She's off. She's off. Don't panic over her. She's off. All fine. On we go. There she is. What a nasty piece of work she was, honestly. Ah! Oh, still held. Still being held. That's a great job. Ah! I just looked down. I do not recommend it. Ah! I've just done it again. This is the main breaker room. Look for a switch that says escape pod. All right, don't touch anything else. Not interested in anything else. Don't touch anything else. Don't even look at anything else.
Alright, so coming soon, there will be an important skip that's gonna save a bit of time for now, but it's also gonna be useful in some future chamber.
I can't see it anywhere. Tell you what, plug me in and I'll turn the lights on. Let there be light. That's God. He's quoting God. Oh, look at that. It's turning. Ominous. But probably fine, as long as it doesn't start, moving up. Now. Escape pod. It's moving up. Okay. No, don't worry. I've got it. This should slow it down. No, makes it go faster. Uh-oh.
So basically by jumping at the right time, you can exit the cutscene. And by getting this clipboard, we make it balance on our head. And by moving very slowly, which is quite difficult, we make the clipboard go on the incinerator. And we have to stand on the clipboard, such as when the cutscene ends, the door opens, the door of the incinerator, and the clipboard is dragged, and we are not dragged, we just fall through the door. There's another way to do it, but this one is cooler, so we choose to do this one instead. And what this trick allows is first to save a bunch of seconds in this chamber, and also, as we are still in a cutscene state, we won't lose it because we will trigger the end of the level before ending the cutscene, so we will have an invincibility for as long as we don't end another cutscene, which is at the end of the game. So we are invincible, we don't take any damages, thanks to this skip.
Here we are, the incinerator room. Be careful not to trip over any parts of me that completely burned when you threw them down here.
Okay, so there we grab both
Should be
cubes.
around here somewhere. Once you find
And we are doing a glitch called SPD. Basically, the cube will be crushed under the panels, and it will give high velocity if we make contact with the cube, which ejects us.
Luckily, we haven't started testing yet. This will be our only chance to talk.
And we just do a bunch of cube ups there.
I'll just move that out of the way for you. This place really is a wreck. But the important thing is you're back with me. And now I'm on to all your little tricks. So there's nothing to stop us from testing for the rest of your life. After that, who knows? I might take up a hobby. Reanimating the dead, maybe. Sorry about the mess. I've really let the place go since you killed me. By the way, thanks for that.
Sarcasm self-test complete.
Oh good.
Okay, so right now we are setting up for the next glitch. We have no idea why it happens, it's just some weird collisions with the laser, I think it's a receptacle. By working in a certain way onto it, it ejects us. But we have no idea why it happens.
This next test involves discouragement redirection cubes. I just finished
Okay, so
building them
here we are at the edge of the trigger that spawns the cube, and by quickly entering, leaving, and entering a second time the trigger, we can activate the trigger twice. And by activating it twice, it will make the cube fizzle and respawn, and if the cube that respawns get pushed close to you, you can grab the cube, which saves some portals.
Don't let that horrible person thing discourage you. It's just a data point. If it makes you feel any better.
Okay, so we have to pause on this chamber to explain it, because it's very fast. So we grab the cube, and we activate the first laser. Then, with all those saves, we keep the first laser activated. As long as it's not like you don't move for more than 6 ticks away from the laser, it's still activated, but because we save load, it goes back to 0 after each save load, so every save load we have 6 ticks more to do it. So while during those 6 ticks we move closer to the door, and the cube still has the laser in it with the save as well, for the same reason. And because we are against the door, the game doesn't want us to be crushed by the door, so if we are against the door and we activate the second laser, like there, the door will just open and close after we are through it.
Terribly undernourished. I want to congratulate you on beating the odds and somehow managing to pack on a few pounds.
I hope it was clear.
One moment. You're navigating these test chambers faster than I can build them, so feel free to slow down and do whatever it is you do when you're not.
Okay, so there we can just walk on that wall, because there was panels before.
I guess you are listening to me. But for the record,
And it's not like at the same place at the wall, so we can like walk on it if we are against it.
This next test involves the Aperture Science Aerial Faith Plate. It was part of an initiative to investigate how well test subjects could solve problems when they were catapulted into space. Results were highly informative. Here's an interesting fact. You're not breathing real air. It's too expensive to pump this far down. We just take carbon dioxide out of a room, freshen it up a little, and pump it back in. So you'll be breathing the same room full of air for the rest of your life. I thought that was interesting. Let's see what the next test is. Oh, advanced aerial faceplates. Well, have fun soaring through the air without a care in the world. I have to go to the wing that was made entirely of glass.
Okay, so this chamber will use trigger catapult manipulation. So the trigger catapult gives you velocity if you are in a threshold. So we just try to be always in that range of velocity to keep it. And on the last plate, we didn't get pushed forward.
Remember before when I was talking about smelly garbage
Again,
sandwich
by
useless?
doing some precise movement, you can land
I was
at a
actually
specific
talking about you,
place
and I'm
on the
sorry.
plate
You didn't react
to go
in time,
upward
so
instead
I
of
was worried
forward.
it sailed
And
right
then we
here.
just do a simple
Which would make this
BSG.
apology seem insane. That's why I had to call you garbage a second time just now. Did you know that people with guilty consciences are more easily startled by loud noises? I'm sorry, I don't know what. Oh, did I accidentally fizzle that before you could complete the test? I'm sorry. Go ahead and grab another one.
Okay, so here we do another cube elevation by holding the cube close against the door, the wall, and by jumping. And as you see, we get a lot of height and clear most of the distance to the top just by doing this.
Smuggle test objects out of the test area. This one is broken. Don't take anything with you. This next test involves emancipation grills. Remember, I told you about
On this chamber there is a small gap
that did not have one.
above the panel and under the fizzler where you can shoot.
Hey, it's me. I'm okay.
Okay, so there we are pushed by the geometry of the level to land on those debris. And on the glass window, there's a small pixel where you can jump off. So we are placing a portal on a specific angle, and we get a boost from the slanted surface. And we are stucking the cube in the air, because those cubes got, when they are activated by lasers, those cubes can remain in the position they are if you don't move them for a bit of time. So the cube just remains tilted.
It's a beautiful day out. Yesterday I saw a deer. If you solve this next test, maybe I'll let you ride an elevator all the way up to the break room. And I'll tell you about the time I saw a deer.
So on this chamber we throw the cube, so it activates the laser at the right time, and when we go through we grab the cube, and the panel closes on us, which makes us fling upward and go to the ending.
These bridges are made from natural light that I pump in from the surface. If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would be
Okay, so
like
there we do
standing
a
out in the
BSG,
sun shining on
and
your
we
face.
be up
It
to the
was
other side.
excellent. You're a predator, and these tests are your prey. Speaking of which, I was researching sharks for an upcoming test. Do you know who else murders people who are only trying to help them? Did you guess sharks? Because that's wrong. The correct answer is nobody. Nobody but you is that pointlessly cruel. Good news. I figured out what to do with all the money I save recycling your one room full of air. When you die, I'm going to laminate your skeleton and pose you in the
Okay, so
lava.
there we just
That way
be
future
up
gens can learn
faster than the door
how
closes,
not to have your unfortunate
and
bones
we
run
have
over.
to land on the cube while it's falling from the dropper. It's one of the hardest jumps in the game.
In fact,
And then
so
it's
well
a triple cube
note
up.
this on your file in the commendation section.
A very difficult chamber.
Lots of room here. Did well. This next test involves turrets. You remember them, right? They're the pale spherical things that are full of bullets. Oh wait.
Okay, so on this chamber there's turrets, so you can see we don't take any damages. So that involves the turrets, obviously, but they don't deal any knockback. And that also involve lasers, but the lasers will push you back, but you don't take any damage from them.
To maintain a constant testing
So on this chamber we do another cube dupe by doing the same as in the previous chamber, by entering a trigger, exiting and re-entering it very fast. We dupe the cube. But on this time it just spawns 2 cubes instead of spawning 1 and fizzling it.
You know how I'm going to live forever, but you're going to be dead in 60 years? Well, I've been working on a belated birthday present for you. Well, more of a belated birthday medical procedure. Well, technically, it's a medical experiment. What's important is it's a present. That jumpsuit you're wearing looks stupid. That's not me talking. It's right here in your file. On other people it looks fine. But right here a scientist has noted that on you it
Okay, so on this chamber it's another place where the invincibility is useful. Otherwise we would have to kill the turrets, which loses a bit of time.
With your last name. A man and a woman. So that's interesting. It's a small world. I have a surprise waiting for you after this next test. Telling you would spoil the surprise. So I'll just give you a hint. It involves meeting 2 people you haven't seen in a long time.
So there we do a BSG to activate the laser and the ending door. And thanks to the invincibility you can just ignore the turrets.
It says this next test was designed by one of Aperture's Nobel Prize winners. It doesn't say what the prize was for. Well, I know it wasn't for being immune to...
Okay, so there we do a BSG with the cube. It's the same as by standing. And we place the cube balancing between the bridge and nothing. And when we save load, it replaces the cube and the cube will tilt and fall. That's a mechanic of the game. When you save load. It's a glitch, not a mechanic.
Initiating surprise in 3, 2, 1. I made it all up. Surprise. Oh, come on. If it makes you feel any better, they abandoned you at birth. So I very seriously doubt they'd even want to see you. Are you still...
Right, so we be up above the gap to the turret. And we go there with the turret with prop ops, and by sending the turret first, we can prevent the cube from colliding and falling in the goo, so we save both cubes. And unlike the previous segmented of 100 portals, we didn't go out of bounds on this, because we have set the rules as inbounds. And there we do what's called Perry skip, by being at the entering and crouching at the side of the elevator. We skip the cutscene of Whitley talking about Jerry. There we do a bunch of cube ups to climb and get the third cube. And so by placing a cube under another, we can lift ourselves by standing on that cube. We can't do that without save load if there was only 1 cube, but thanks to the 2 cubes we can do it without save load. And we just cube up to the end so we don't use any
And I
portals.
came up with a solution that I honestly think works out best for one of both of us. Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty good. That's right. The facility is completely
Okay, so
operational.
like mentioned in one of the previous chamber with lots of save loads, the receptacles stay active for 6 ticks or maybe 7 ticks. So if you activate them very fast, you can activate all 3 of them at the same
Not a
time.
fake, tragic surprise like last time. A real surprise with tragic consequences. What's going on? Who turned off the lights?
Hey, buddy, I'm speaking in an accent that is beyond her range of hearing.
Look, Metal Ball, I can hear you.
Run! I don't need to do the voice. Run! 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 Come on, I'm closing the doors. Okay, quick recap. We are escaping. All right, that's what's happening now. We're escaping. So you're doing great. Just keep running. Quick word about the future plans that I've got in store.
Yeah.
We're gonna shut down her turret production line. All right, turn off her neurotoxin and then confront her. Again, though, for the come on, come on! Ah!
So there we grab a turret and we go behind the panel while it's moving, so we are not blocked by the panel.
This way, this way. Turrets!
And we can just jump on the catwalk and avoid the turret.
There's the exit. We're almost out of here. Bring in the whole place back.
And you can climb with cubes, but you can also climb with turrets by save loading. And we are still inbounds because, as you can see, there's a big black room around the chamber and everything inside that room is inbounds. And by placing the turret on the ground, it loses collisions, and by going inside of it and save loading, we clip down. So by save loading a bunch of time, we can activate the level transition trigger,
Okay, alright, so I've got an idea.
which saves a portal.
Here we go.
Otherwise, it's slower than the other way, the normal way.
They told me
But because it
if
saves
I
the
ever
portal,
turn this
we did it.
flashlight on- Ooh, it's dark down here, isn't it? They say that the old caretaker of this place went absolutely crazy. Chopped up his entire
Yeah, so there you can see there's some shots
all of them robots.
that are made, but because they don't land on a portable surface,
All of them
it does not add up to the final
memory of the incident. Here's an interesting
total of portal.
He's got a job down here in manufacturing, but who the foreman went with? Only an exact duplicate of himself. Nepotism.
This one counted though, because it landed on
Smelly humans. The
a wall that places a portal.
just oh, I'll tell you, humans. Oh, love them. Just the way they look. It's great. Right. Well, I'm gonna take this rail down the back.
Okay, so there we grab a mug and we do some precise jumps to skip the conveyors. And so there, by fizzling the mug, the fizzling part has some collision, and using that collision to boost us a bit upward, we can shoot above the glass. And there we grab a turret, a defective turret, and we do a jump on some invincible walls
All right, now check
above
out
the
these
catwalks.
plans. So let's go and take care of that neurotoxin generator as well. Bring your daughter to work day. That did not end well. And 40 potato batteries. Embarrassing. I mean, I realize they're children, but still, low-hanging fruit and all that. Barely science, really, is it? Don't worry, I'm absolutely guaranteeing you 100%. Okay, let's try this way. Ha! I knew we were going the right way. This is the neurotoxin generator. Bit bigger than I expected. Not going to be able to just, push it over. Have to apply some cleverness. There's some sort of control room up in the top. There's our handiwork. I shouldn't laugh, really. They do feel pain, of a sort. It's all simulated, But for them, I suppose. I'm afraid the door. What are you doing? We don't know what that button. Oh, the door's open. Well done. Let's see what's inside.
So this chamber is the only one where you can place portal on a wall that moves, a movable wall.
Don't worry, all right?
So by climbing on this pillar and entering the portal bubble, so basically it's the hitbox of the portal in front of it. Thanks to the moving portal, you can go through the portal without really going through, and you will get teleported not at the exit of the portal, but at the place relative to where you entered. So you can skip the cutscene of the
I'm loving this. Whale of a time.
neurotoxin generator exploding.
I'm really seeing the top layer. It goes down for miles. All sealed off years ago, of course. We should be getting close. Oh, I cannot wait to see the look on her face. No neurotoxin, no turret. She'll never know what hit her. Hold on, because I might not have thought this next part completely through. Ah! Well, I'm going the wrong way. Get to her. I'll find you.
Also, I want to mention that on the previous chamber with a neurotoxin generator, it's possible to save 2 portals, but it was found later than when we started to do the run, and it would require to manipulate the hitbox, and it takes a lot of time. It can take several minutes, so we didn't want to make the run look boring by doing the same thing over and over for several minutes, so we didn't do it.
Otherwise, I'm afraid you're about to become the immediate past president of the Being Alive Club. Seriously, though, goodbye.
It's my big chance. This is trouble. Ah, not again. Here comes Doc. Locked and loaded. Oh, this ain't it.
Oh, you were busy back there. Well, I suppose we could just.
I also want to give credit to Mel for the very good acting job on this chamber.
Deadly neurotoxin. If I were you, I'd take a deep breath and hold it.
Hello.
I hate you so much.
Warning, central core is 80% corrupt.
That's funny. I don't feel corrupt. In fact, I feel pretty good.
Alternate core detected.
Oh, that's me they're talking about.
To initiate a core transfer, please deposit substitute core in receptacle. Substitute core accepted. Substitute core, are you ready to start the procedure?
Yes.
Corrupted core, are you ready to start the procedure?
No.
Oh, yes, she is.
No.
Stalemate detected. Transfer procedure cannot continue.
Yes.
Unless a stalemate associate is present to press the stalemate resolution button.
Leave me in. Leave me in. Go.
Not so fast. Think about
Okay, so there we just jump above the first panels, and to reach the button we just use the panels that are supposed to block us
Believe me, it will.
as a ramp to go above them
Aren't you? You're just
and reach the button instead.
exactly how painful are we to... Ah!
No. Stop. No.
Because there we are placing at a specific place. So what happened is when Whitley changes it swaps his body with GLaDOS, the head part of GLaDOS is set on the ground where we are standing, and by save loading, because we are inside an entity, we are clipped down. And you might think we are out of bounds because of how the white screen was displaying weird colors, but we were still inside the boundaries. It's like at the limit, but we are still inside the boundaries.
Working together with the express purpose of building the dumbest moron who ever lived. And you just put him in charge of the entire facility. Good, that's still working. Hey, just in case this pit isn't actually bottomless, do you think maybe you could unstrap one of those long fall boots of yours and shove me into it? Just remember to land on one foot.
There we are just doing some movement on the geometry of the level to skip portals. That's the good thing about this map. It's that there's a lot of detail, so we can just jump on everything we see. And there we used the portal as a platform to go higher. Between like the top platform and the bottom platform, it was too high, so we placed the portal to make an intermediate platform to navigate from the bottom one to the top one. There we do some precise shots at specific place, and by save loading there, because of of how demo rendering works, we have to pause at the first tick, and by doing this we invert the tick rate. So basically the game runs every 2 ticks, so 0, 2, 4, 6. But because we save load, it changes to every odd tick, so 1, 3, 5, and thanks to that we can jump on a small ledge, which allows us to reach the end. But if we were not allowed to save load, there would be no pause, and there would be no this jump wouldn't be possible.
Let's get started. This first test involves something the lab boys call repulsion gel. You're not part of the control group, by the way. You get the gel. Last poor son of a gun got blue paint.
So by not jumping, we get more height than by jumping on the blue gel. Because when we jump, we only get the height of the jump. And using the cube we can get more height because it has upward velocity. There we do an SPD by sticking the cube inside the door, and just like when we got the portal gun,
In case you got covered in that
it gives
lab boy
a boost
do not get covered in the
upward,
repulsion gel. We haven't
and we
entirely
trigger the
nailed down what
dialogue
element it
in
is
order
yet,
to get
but I'll tell you
the
this, it's a lively one, and
a faster elevator. If we don't get the dialogue, the elevator is very slow.
all these science spheres are made of asbestos, by the way. Keeps out the rats. Let us know if you feel a shortness of breath, a persistent dry cough, or your heart stopping, because that's not part of the test. That's asbestos. I like your style. You make up your own rules, just like me. Bean Counter said I couldn't fire a man just for being in a wheelchair. Did it anyway. Ramps are expensive.
Okay, so there we saw a double jump. So by doing crouch jumping twice, we get 2 more units than a normal jump, which is useful to get more height than we should have. And because we are not jumping, we get a bit more height there, as we are just falling from the platform, not jumping off of it. And that allows us to climb the pillar. And we just land on the pipe, and by spamming the jump button we can move faster on it. And there we are not worried about falling because we are on an invincible wall. And just like the previous chamber, we have to activate the dialogue to make the elevator go faster than if you don't activate it.
And vitrify your frontal lobe. Anyway, don't stress yourself thinking about it. I'm serious. Visualizing the scenario while under stress actually triggers the reaction. Now, if you're part of Control Group Kepler 7, we implant
Okay, so on this chamber we are manipulating the gel
into your skull. Most likely
to
even there. But if it starts
have a bigger area than it should have.
this next test may involve trace amounts of time.
And there we are bouncing. Above the door there's a small triangle, and by going against it with velocity we get more upward velocity because of the wall, so we can get height and reach the next part. There we do a jump because there's a small platform next to the fence, very small. We can just go on the fence, and then we jump on blocks above the goo. And there we are trying to get more height as possible to reach the top part. And we saw doing double jump again to have more height than we should have. So there is a stuck launch between two specific places we can sometimes stuck. Like we are falling, but gravity is giving us velocity, but our fall is very slow. And because of the blue gel under us, we can convert the downward velocity of the gravity back to upward velocity. And because all the chambers on that second part of the game are in spheres, the spherical shape sends us directly to the ending.
Here listening to me means you've made a glorious contribution to science. As founder and CEO of Amateur Science, I am for your participation and hope we can count on you for another round of tests. We're not going to release this stuff into the world until it's good and damn ready, so as long as you keep yourself in top physical form, there'll always be a limo waiting for you. Say goodbye, Carolyn.
Goodbye, Carolyn.
She is a gem. Greetings, friend. I'm Cave Johnson, CEO of Aperture Science. You might know us as a...
There we skip the potato GLaDOS by going above the elevator door.
Other people have some... quicker you'll get your 60 bucks.
And so there is another one of the hardest jump of the game.
Job, astronaut, war hero, and or Olympian.
It took like over 10,000 attempts.
This on? Hey, listen up down there. That thing's called an elevator, not a bathroom.
I swear I know him.
If you're interested in an additional $60, flag down a test associate and let them know. You could walk out of here with 120 weighing down your bindle if you let us take you apart, put some sight.
Okay, so there we are falling on blue gel on a slanted surface.
I mentioned earlier.
And because it's slanted, we can jump several times off of it. And because we get a small boost of velocity every time we jump, by jumping several times, I think it's 7 times, we can fling directly to the ending.
Thank you. I can't believe I'm thanking these people. For staggering your way through Aperture Science's propulsion gel testing. You've made some real contributions to society for a change, and for that, humanity is grateful. If you had any belongings, please pick them up now. We don't want old newspapers and sticks cluttering up the building. For many of you, I welcome to the Enrichment Center. Unprecedented windfall, so don't go spending it all on. Since making test participation mandatory for all employees, the quality of our test subjects has risen dramatically. Employee retention, however, has not. As a result, you may have heard we're going to phase out human testing. There's still a few things left to wrap up, though. The bean counters told me we literally could not afford to buy $7 worth of moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought them anyway. Ground them up, mixed them into a gel. Guess what? Ground up moon rocks are pure poison. I am deathly ill. Turns out they're a great portal conductor. So now, we're going to see if jumping in and out of these new portals can somehow leach the lunar poison out of a man's bloodstream. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Okay, so there we are doing this to get height because the orange portal is a bit lower than the blue portal, so we are falling for longer in the orange one, which gives more height. Because the longer we fall, the more velocity we get. So we do it a bunch of times to get more height.
Alright, I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad! I don't want your damn lemons! What am I supposed to do with these?
Take the lemons.
Demand to see life's manager. Make life rue the day and thought it could give lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna
And there we do a jump off the slanted surface just to have a small peak at the top portable wall, which allows us to save the portal.
Crazy man down there was right. Let's not take these lemons. We are going to mark
There we do a tricky jump to get on the pipe,
and he'll probably kill us because
and we place gel under this pipe, and we do another stuck launch. You can see we fall slowly, but the velocity we get is huge.
still though, let's get mad. If we're going to explode, let's at least explode with some dignity. Wait, I've got an idea. That poster. Go look at it for a second, would you? Paradoxes. No AI can resist thinking about them. I know how we can beat him.
God's sake, your boxes with legs. It's literally your only purpose. Walking onto buttons. How can you not do the one warmer? Warmer. Boiling hot. Okay, colder, ice cold. You're Arctic now. You're very cold. Very, very, very cold. Look, just get on the button. Oh, that's funny, is it? Oh, it's funny because we've been at this for 12 hours and you haven't solved it either. So I don't know why you're laughing. You've got 1 hour. Solve it.
On this part we throw the cube on the button, so we can go against the door before Whitley blocks the exit.
I have to test all the time, or I get this itch. You know, it must be hardwired into the system or something. Oh, but I tell you, when I do test, oh man alive, nothing feels better. It's just, that's what I'm gonna test. That's what I'm gonna test. So you're gonna test, and I'm gonna watch, and everything is gonna be just.
Warning. Core overheating.
Design this. Oh.
Okay, and then we are manipulating the cubes
Oh, well done.
to fall when we spawn them.
That's tremendous.
We just like try over and over until
That felt really good.
the RNG just spawns the cube correctly.
Making tests is so difficult.
And then we just save load to climb with the cube.
And I can just like watch you solve it. That's and nothing. Alright, can't blame you for trying. Okay, new tests. Gotta be some tests.
And we do the same twice.
Alright, so my paradox idea didn't work. And it almost killed me. Luckily, by the looks of things, he knows as much about test building as he does about logical contradictions. It shouldn't be hard to stay alive long enough to find him.
It's alright, everything's good, I just invented some more tests.
This is one of my tests.
Not entirely, not entirely. Look at the word.
Okay, so as you can see, we are only 8 portals of the ending, of the 69 portals, and there's a reason for that. It's because we can fly with a funnel. So we get the fly, and by going between the wall and the dropper, we can just go down because of the geometry of the dropper. And then by entering the funnel while having the fly, we can push ourselves down thanks to some weird game mechanics. And by crouching there, we can get the fly again. I'm gonna mention the fly as CFG, standing for Crouch Fly Glitch.
Oh, wow.
And
Well done. Seriously, both of you.
that cube is called the Franken turret, and Franken turret, when they got into high velocity, they change state between cube and monster, like when it can move. And if you give it high velocity, you can then place it against a wall and it's gonna go up the wall, or against the ceiling and it's gonna stick to the ceiling. And we just make it stick to the...
Okay, so the bad news is the tests are my tests
we
now.
make it stick to the button like this.
The good news is,
And because we can save load, we keep the fly, and it stays all the way till we go back in a new funnel.
Yeah, made this test myself. Out of small
And we are not
tests.
gonna touch any funnel to lose it yet.
Oh, yes. Well done.
There we grabbed
all we had to do was pull that lever.
the cube, and we did a BSG with it.
I know we're in a lot of trouble and probably about to die, but that was worth it. I thought of some good news. He's going to run out of test chambers eventually. I never stockpiled them.
I'm coming. Don't start yet. You are not going to believe this. I found a sealed off wing. Hundreds of perfectly good test chambers just sitting there, filled with skeletons.
So there again we do another BSG. It's very easy to skip those rooms. We don't have much to do.
Disappointed?
And we have to wait for the dialogue.
Oh no, it's happening sooner than I expected. I'm sure we'll be fine. It's probably nothing. Keep testing while I look for a way out.
Alright, so that last test was seriously disappointing. Apparently, being civil isn't...
There we go, right under the funnel.
It's not enough!
If we touch it, we would lose the fly, and we don't want to lose the fly yet.
I might have pushed that more.
We don't want to lose the fly at all. So we are just gonna avoid any funnel.
Playing classical music.
Oh, sorry. I hope that didn't disturb you too much.
There's an invincible wall that pushes us, that can,
What I was doing, just reading.
that is slanted so we can go down. It's like it pushes us.
Oh, what was that? That was nothing! That was nothing!
The body he's squatting in, my body, has a built-in euphoric response to testing. Eventually, you build up a resistance to it. It can get a little unbearable, unless you have the mental capacity to push past it. It didn't matter to me. I was in it for the science. Him, though. If he's not getting his solution euphoria, we could be in a lot of trouble.
Don't mind me, just moving the old test chamber a little bit closer to me. I'd have thought maybe proximity...
So there we jump and we get blocked by the cube to slow down the upward velocity, and we just throw the cube
Sure you're solving these
to
correctly. I mean, yes,
make it land on the
but
button.
I'm wondering if maybe there's a number of ways
And
to
we
solve
have to
them.
wait for the dialogue anyway.
Worse ways. No, that was the solution. What am I missing?
I think he's getting desperate. This is not good.
Have a brainwave. I'm going to tape you solving these and then watch 10 at once.
On this one we just jumped directly to the ending because it's already open, we don't have to do anything
Solve these 10 times
except
fast.
waiting for the dialogue.
Remember when I told you that he was specifically designed to make bad decisions? Because I think he's decided not to maintain any of the crucial functions required to keep this facility from exploding. Oh, my facility. This place is self-destructing, you idiot.
Was self-destructing, already fixed.
Okay, so there we just go through this laser that's supposed to kill us, but we still have invincibility. And we do that cube throw to activate the laser with a rotated cube, which is one of the hardest tricks of the game. And there we avoid the funnel, so we have to go down another way. So we are still in bounds because the level has still boundaries that are further away. We are just going around some death trigger, and so we activate the door that opens, and we are at the next level.
Great. Yeah, just getting a test ready for you, obviously. Who else would I be doing it for? No one? So, let's see here. Exit.
On this level we could go directly to the ending, but the door would not open if we don't look at Peabody, the robot, while we are still at the spawn. So if we are too fast, the door would just not open.
Perfect. Off you go. I'll be honest, after you told me to turn that beam off, I thought I had lost you. Went poking around for other test subjects. No luck there. Everyone's still dead. Oh, I did find something though. Reminds me. I've got a big surprise for you two. Seriously, look forward to it.
Alright, he's not even trying to be subtle anymore. Or maybe he still is, in which case, wow, that's kind of sad.
Sorry, my fault. Butterfingers.
Okay, so there we can just fly above the gap
3 more chambers to your big surprise.
and jump past the turret.
Oh, it's tiring.
So, he's inexplicably happy all of a sudden, even though he should be going out of his mind with test withdrawal. And he's got a surprise for us.
And we haven't used a single portal since we started to get the fly.
I'll bet you're both dying to know what your big surprise is. Well, only 2 more chambers.
We're running
Okay, so there we get blocked by the wall because it doesn't have the same collision, and the other wall in front of it has no collision because it's supposed to open anyway, so we can just go through. And this is still in bounds as well. And we are just navigating until Whitley's Crusher. And we use the monitor to get downward velocity because it's a bit slanted
I'm not gonna kill you.
towards
Okay,
down.
if you come back. Oh, I've got an idea. Yes, in your face. I got. Hold on. I'm almost there. Ah. Don't like me? Continue escaping. Did something break back there?
There again, we don't take any damages, thanks to the invincibility from the beginning of the game. But it's possible without it anyway.
Year 2, cryogenic refrigeration wing. Then 10 years in the chamber I built where all the robots...
So there we navigate around lots of invincible walls, because this level has lots of invincible walls that prevent us from moving anywhere we want. And some walls don't have collision, so we can just go through. Just like there. And there we are doing the same as when we broke the glass in the one of the first chamber, Smooth Jazz. We are like under a trigger, and we are crouching, so we can activate it from below. And this is the place where we can save another portal, but it takes literally 2 hours to save one portal, so we didn't choose to go for it, even by doing a screen that says 2 hours later. It wouldn't like fit in the run.
These were enemies with a common interest. Revenge. You like revenge, right? Everybody likes revenge. Well, let's go get some.
Well. Welcome to my lair. Let me just flag something up. According to the control panel light up there, the entire building is going to self-destruct in about 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's a problem with the light. I think the light's on the blink, but just in case it isn't, I am actually going to have to kill you, as discussed earlier. So let's...
There we are doing the boss fight against Whitley, but we still have the fly, so we will have to get the cores while flying.
I took the liberty of watching the tapes of you killing her, and I'm not going to make the same mistakes. 4-part plan is this. 1. No portal services. 2. Start the neurotoxin immediately. 3. Bomb-proof shields for me, leading directly onto number 4. Bombs. Throwing it. You know what? This plan is so good, I'm going to give you a sporting chance and turn off the neurotoxin. I'm joking, of course. Goodbye.
Neurotoxin level at capacity in 5 minutes.
So we will be using a lot of the slanted panels and pipes to move around, to get height and lose height.
I wanted you to
I'm delivering the first core up near the catwalk. Gravity can attach it to it.
Warning. Core corruption at 50%. Vent system compromised. Neurotoxin offline. Reactor explosion in 4 minutes.
What happened? What happened? What have you put onto me? What is that? Hold on. The bloody bombs are stuck. Ah!
Okay, great. Here comes another core.
Quick, what's the situation? Oh,
Warning. Core corruption at 75%. Reactor explosion timer destroyed. Reactor explosion uncertainty emergency preemption protocol initiated. This facility will self-destruct in 2 minutes.
Enough! I told you not to put these cores on, but you don't listen, do you? Quiet. Ah!
And this core can be grabbed as soon as GLaDOS finishes her dialogue.
Corruption at 100%.
You are about to get the...
Manual core replacement required.
Ah! I see.
Substitute core. Are you ready to start? Corrupted core. Are you ready to start?
What do you think?
So the time will end as soon as we shoot the final portal.
Stalemate detected. Fire detected in the stalemate resolution annex. Extinguishing.
Ah, that just cleans right off, does it? Well, that would have been good to know a little earlier.
Stalemate resolution associate. Please press the stalemate resolution button.
Do not press that button.
And then we have to go down in the portal, so we use Whitley to push us down.
Forbid you to press it.
And a funny thing, we lose the fly as soon as we touch the button.
Are you still alive? You are joking. You have got to be kidding me. Well, I'm still in control, and I have no idea how to.
And the time ends
Oh,
now. We couldn't do the early moonshot to skip that part of the ending because we had the fly and the fly makes it impossible.
go! We're in space. Ah, let go! Let go! I'm still connected. I can pull myself in. I can still fix this.
I already fixed it, and you are not coming back.
Oh no! Change your plans. Hold on to me. Tighter. Ah!
I'm gonna let you enjoy the custom ending made by Xinera once again after this cutscene.